Welcome to Buddy Week training. My name is Jay Zimmerman. I am a U.S. Army combat vet. Throughout this training, I hope you discover your role in suicide prevention, buddy to buddy, veteran to veteran. Thank you for your participation in Buddy Week. Be well. If you're watching this video, it's because you care about the well-being of your brothers and sisters in arms. Even one veteran suicide is too many. We need your help to reach out to other veterans. This video will show you how to take that action. Connection matters, belonging matters, and loyalty to one another matters. We need to be there for each other. By watching this video, you will learn how to make connections to decrease suicide rates among veterans, learn about Buddy Check Week, know some common signs to listen and look for when talking to someone who may be at risk for suicide, know what to do when you identify a veteran at risk, see some Buddy Check conversation starters, know how to build your resilience. History of American Legion's Buddy Check. The Buddy Check program was launched in March 2019 as a comradeship campaign to encourage posts to reach out to veterans in their areas, members, former members, and others to see what the American Legion could do for them. The idea is to reconnect with veterans who may need assistance but don't know where to go or who to ask. The contacts may be made by personal visit, phone, or email, or a combination. The important part is to reach out to veterans in your community, to let them know you care and can provide whatever assistance they may need. VA's inaugural National Buddy Check Week is October 16th through 20, 2023. The passing of the Strong Veterans Act of 2022 brought in VA to amplify the American Legion's established program while encouraging veterans to check in on one another. The VA is excited to designate 1 week each year to organize outreach events and educate veterans on what to do if they encounter another veteran who may be in crisis or having thoughts of suicide while checking in with them. This week shall be known as Buddy Check Week. VA S.A.V.E. training video. The VA S.A.V.E. training offers simple steps that anyone can take when talking with veterans who are at risk for suicide. VA S.A.V.E. will help you recognize behaviors that may be signs a veteran is in crisis or having thoughts of suicide. We will transition to watching that video now.
Hello, and welcome to this presentation of S.A.V.E., #BeThere. This course is brought to you by the Department of Veterans Affairs in collaboration with Psych Armor Institute. My name is Megan McCarthy, and I am the Deputy Director for Suicide Prevention in the Veterans Health Administration, Office of Mental Health and Suicide Prevention. Our hope for this course is that each of our learners will recognize that we all have a role in suicide prevention. Each of us has the opportunity to be that one person who makes a difference, the person who asks the question that can save a veteran's life, or the life of any person struggling with thoughts of suicide. By the end of this course, the learner will be able to, first, develop a general understanding of the problem of suicide in the United States. Second, understand how to identify a veteran who might be at risk for suicide. And third, know what to do if you identify a veteran at risk. Suicide is a serious public health problem in the United States. Every 12 minutes, someone dies by suicide in our country, making suicide the 10th leading cause of death among Americans. In America, suicides among veterans have received a great deal of attention in recent years. The estimated number of veterans who die by suicide each day in America has changed from year to year, but several factors about veteran suicide have remained constant. For instance, veterans account for 18% of adult suicides in the United States, even though veterans comprise only about 9% of the U.S. adult population. In addition, we know that veterans are more likely to use firearms as a means for suicide than people in the general population. Another thing we know for sure, all branches of the military and the VA are absolutely committed to preventing suicide among our country's heroes. So what is S.A.V.E.? S.A.V.E. is a VA suicide prevention training intended to help everyone who cares about veterans understand the facts about suicide. S.A.V.E. helps people identify a veteran at risk, and it provides information about what to do to help a veteran in distress. We all have a role in suicide prevention, and each one of us can help save the life of a veteran who is struggling. The first step is to understand some of the most commonly held beliefs about suicide and understand what is true and what is a myth. With this knowledge, we can all be there and make a difference in the lives of the veterans around us. Number 1, if somebody really wants to die by suicide, he or she will find a way to do it. This is absolutely not true. The fact is that making one form of suicide less convenient does not lead people to just attempt a different way. In fact, it can lead to a decrease in suicide. Perhaps the greatest evidence we have that death by suicide is preventable is related to limiting access to lethal means. It's an important and fascinating connection that has been demonstrated in multiple studies. We know that access to the means to kill yourself is an important risk factor for dying by suicide. Many studies show that most, but not all, suicidal crises are relatively brief, lasting minutes to hours. So if we can build in time and space between the decision to attempt suicide and the ability to do so for just a few hours, we will save lives. In addition, we know from decades of research that the overwhelming majority of people, around 90%, do not substitute one method for another if they survive a suicidal crisis. That is, 90% of people do not go on to die by suicide if their first attempt does not result in death. Here's an example of what we're talking about. After World War II, suicide rates in the United Kingdom were increasing, and a substantial percentage of the people who were dying by suicide were dying by suffocation, using the carbon monoxide gas in their home ovens. After the UK switched to using gas that had a very low carbon monoxide content, preventing people from taking their lives using their ovens, the suicide rate in the UK dropped by 43%. The interesting thing was that people did not replace it with another means. And this pattern has been found over the years by a number of other studies in many different countries. We know that the overwhelming majority of people who die by suicide have a diagnosable mental health condition at the time of their death. S.A.V.E. is about preventing a crisis before it happens. If you can learn a little bit about the best ways to encourage a veteran in your life to get the help he or she needs, and get connected with potentially life-saving treatment before a potential crisis, you have made a difference for that person. Please don't be afraid to talk to veterans in your life who might be at risk about the importance of safely storing weapons and medication. Open communication and collaboration can be the key to saving someone's life. Number 2, asking about suicidal thoughts or plans may lead someone to take his or her life. This is also not true. The truth is that asking someone you are concerned about if he or she is thinking about suicide does not create suicidal thoughts. On the contrary, asking this simple question gives people permission to talk about their thoughts and feelings. Sometimes it can be just one person who cares enough to ask, "How are you?" and then takes the time to really listen to the answer. That saves a life. Number 3, there are talkers and there are doers. You've probably heard this one too, that people who really want to take their lives don't talk about it, and that the people who are talking about it aren't going to do it. This is absolutely not true. Research demonstrates that most people who are considering suicide show signs of serious distress and/or talk specifically about death or suicide. The truth is that many people who die by suicide have communicated that they were in crisis, that they had suicidal thoughts or plans to someone in their lives. In other words, Many people who die by suicide or attempt suicide have given some clue or warning that they have been struggling a lot. Someone who talks openly about suicide provides others with an opportunity to help before the situation gets worse. Suicide threats should never be ignored and should always be taken seriously. No matter how casually the person speaks about it, statements like, "You'll be sorry when I'm dead," or "I can't see any way out," may indicate very serious suicidal feelings. Number 4, a person won't die by suicide if he or she has just made plans for a vacation, has young children at home, made a verbal or written promise to someone, or knows how much he or she is loved by his or her family. This is also not true. While planning for the future or having loving family and children at home can sometimes be protective factors for suicide, the intent to die can arise suddenly and override rational or logical thinking. Veterans who are experiencing suicidal thoughts and plans must be taken seriously and referred to a clinician who can evaluate and treat them. S.A.V.E. provides a way for all of us to act with care and compassion if we encounter a veteran in distress. Think S.A.V.E. to remember the important steps in preventing suicide. S is for signs. Learn to recognize the signs that indicate someone may be thinking about suicide. A is for ask. Ask the most important question of all. V is for validate. It is crucial to validate the veteran's experience and make him or her feel understood and supported. E is for encourage and expedite. It's important to encourage veterans to get treatment and to expedite them getting help. Let's go through each of these steps in more detail. S is for signs. There may be several signs or clues that you can observe in veterans' thoughts, feelings, and behavior that a veteran is considering suicide and needs our help. Hopelessness. This is feeling like there is no way out. Anxiety, agitation, insomnia, or mood changes. Feeling there is no reason to live. Rage or anger. Increasing alcohol or drug use. Withdrawal from family or friends. In addition, any of the following signs require immediate medical or emergency intervention. Thoughts of hurting or killing him or herself. Looking for ways to die. Talking about death, dying, or suicide. Self-destructive or risk-taking behavior, especially including alcohol, drugs, or weapons. A is for ask. It is vital that we all know to ask the most important question of all. Are you thinking about killing yourself? Some things to consider. Do ask the question whenever you have seen the warning signs we've discussed here. Do ask the question in a natural way. Let it be part of the conversation as if it were a natural thing to talk about, because it is. This reduces stigma and helps the veteran feel more comfortable talking about it with you. Please don't ask the question in a way that sounds like you're expecting a no answer. For instance, "You aren't thinking of suicide, are you?" Please don't wait to ask the question until the veteran is, or you are, leaving. Give yourself time to talk about this. It's that important. Other things to think about. Stay calm. Listen more than you speak. Make eye contact and keep it. Look confident. Don't argue with the veteran. Let your body language be open and comforting. Make your comments encouraging and supportive. And be honest, this is a difficult situation and the answer is not a quick fix, but there is help available. V is for validate. Validate the veteran's experience. Talk openly about suicide. Listen and allow the veteran to talk, no matter what he or she is feeling. Acknowledge that the situation is serious, but do not judge. Reassure the veteran that help is available and you will help him or her find it. E is for encourage treatment and expedite getting help. What should I do if I think a veteran is suicidal? Do not keep it a secret. Do not leave the veteran alone. Try to get the veteran immediate help from his or her doctor, from the nearest ER, or from 911. Reassure the veteran that help is available. You can call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255, press 1 for veterans. Text the Veterans Crisis Line at 838-255, or visit veteranscrisisline.net and click on the upper right corner of the screen to enter the confidential Veterans Chat. The responders at the Veterans Crisis Line are there to serve all veterans and anyone who is trying to help a veteran. Please provide this number to any veteran or friend or family member of a veteran. A few important safety issues to cover. Never negotiate with someone who has a gun. Please get to safety and call 911. If the veteran has taken pills, cut him or herself, or done harm to him or herself in some other way, call 911 immediately. Here are some important resources to know about. VA clinical and suicide prevention support. The Veterans Health Administration provides specialty inpatient and outpatient mental health services at its medical centers and community-based outpatient clinics. All mental health care provided by VA supports recovery, which is striving to enable a person with mental health problems to live a meaningful life in the community and achieve his or her full potential. In addition, each VA medical center has a suicide prevention coordinator to ensure veterans get connected with the care and support they've earned. Visit the resource locator under the Get Help tab of the veteranscrisisline.net website to find your nearest resource. There are many, such as the Suicide Prevention Coordinator, VA Medical Center, or VET centers. VET centers are VA community-based centers that provide a range of counseling, outreach, and referral services. They have access to VA medical records, but their records are kept separate. Make the connection. This is a one-stop online resource where veterans and their families can confidentially explore information on their own time about mental health symptoms, challenging life events, and mental health conditions. On this site, veterans and their families and friends can learn about available resources and support. In addition, many veterans tell their own stories here, reducing stigma and normalizing what veterans might be feeling. PTSD-specific veteran resources. Each VA medical center has PTSD specialists who provide treatment for veterans with PTSD. This includes the PTSD Coaching app, which allows phone users to manage their symptoms, links them with local sources of support, and provides information on PTSD. Finally, there's the Veterans and Military Crisis Line, which has responders working around the clock to answer calls and texts or chats from veterans who need them. For all of you who might be gatekeepers for our veterans in so many important roles in their lives, you have the ability to save a life. Each of us, if we act with confidence and calmness and remember S.A.V.E., can make the difference that gives a veteran hope in a time of crisis. Remember the steps of S.A.V.E. Know the signs. Ask the question. Validate the veteran's feelings. Encourage getting help and expedite treatment. Thank you for taking the time to learn this vital information. Armed with S.A.V.E., you can be the person who makes that all-important difference in a veteran's life. Thank you for all you do. Be there.
Thank you for taking the time to learn about this important topic and about our nation's military, veterans, and their family members. If you have any questions about this course or need assistance, please visit the PsychArmor website or call the PsychArmor support line at 844-779-2427.
Buddy checks. Make sure to consider how you can incorporate what you learn from the S.A.V.E. training into the buddy checks that you'll do as an important part of Buddy Week. These are just some suggestions for what you could say to get the buddy check started, but you can say whatever feels comfortable for you. Some conversation starters could be, I care about you and wanted to check with you. How are you doing? Just wanted to check and see how you've been doing lately and if you need anything. Are you familiar with Buddy Check Week? I'm checking in with a few veterans this week and wanted to see how you're doing. An important part of checking in with your buddy is keeping the conversation going after you get it started. Some examples could be, no matter what your relationship is to the veteran you're reaching out to, the following tips will help you when you check in with them. Use open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with yes or no and will allow your buddy to elaborate more. Examples. How have you been feeling lately? How has life been going? Use affirmations. When your buddy shares how they're feeling, let them know that you appreciate their honesty. Some examples. I'm really glad you told me about that. It's not easy to open up sometimes. I appreciate you sharing with me. Use reflections. This will let your buddy know that you're really listening to them and what they say matters to you. For example, I hear you're having a really hard time. It sounds like you're feeling hopeless. Use summaries. You can make sure that you're tracking everything your buddy is saying and remind them of what you've talked about. Examples. You've told me about your relationship, your job, and how you're so tired all the time. That sounds like it would feel really overwhelming. With everything you have going on, like looking for a new job, trying to get your house ready to sell, it sounds like you could feel overwhelmed. But I heard you say that you would call the crisis line if you need to, and that sounds like a really good plan. If someone tells you they're thinking about suicide, stay calm, allow them to talk, try to approach them non-judgmentally. Let them know that they can get the help and care they need. Connect them to help. Call 911. Call the Veterans Crisis Line by dialing 988, then pressing 1. Help get them connected to their local hospital. Help get them connected to a mental health provider who is immediately available. Utilize another resource from the S.A.V.E. training. Don't do it alone. Get help. Reach out. Resiliency. It's important to take care of yourself while helping others. We'll learn more about what resiliency is and get into some ways that you can foster your own wellness and resiliency. So, what is resiliency? Life may not come with a map, but everyone will experience twists and turns from everyday challenges to traumatic events with more lasting impact, like the death of a loved one, a life altering accident, or a serious illness. Each change affects people differently, bringing a unique flood of thoughts, strong emotions, and uncertainty. Yet people generally adapt well over time to life changing situations and stressful situations, in part thanks to resilience. Being resilient doesn't mean that a person won't experience difficulty or distress. While certain factors might make some individuals more resilient than others, resilience isn't necessarily a personality trait that only some possess. So, knowing how to adapt to difficult or challenging life experience through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility, or you can call it bouncing back or down but not out. We'll talk about some ways that you can increase your resilience so that you can continue to check in on your battle buddies even beyond Buddy Check Week. Like building a muscle, increasing your resilience takes time and practice. To increase your capacity for resilience to weather and grow from the difficulties, use the following strategies. Take care of your body. Self care may be a popular buzzword, but it's also a legitimate practice for mental health and building resilience. That's because stress is just as much a physical as it is emotional. Prompting positive lifestyle factors like proper nutrition, ample sleep, hydration, and regular exercise can strengthen your body to adapt to stress and reduce the toll of emotions like anxiety or depression. Practice mindfulness. Depending on your personal beliefs and what is useful for you from a coping perspective, journaling, yoga, or spiritual practices like prayer or meditation can also help people build connections and restore hope, which can prime them to deal with situations that require resilience. When you journal, meditate, or pray, ruminate on positive aspects of your life and recall the things you're grateful for, even during personal trials. Help others, whether you volunteer with a local homeless shelter or simply support a friend in their own time of need. You can garner a sense of purpose, foster self worth, connect with other people, and tangibly help others, all of which can empower you to grow in resilience. Be proactive. It's helpful to acknowledge and accept your emotions during hard times, but it's also important to help you foster self discovery by asking yourself, what can I do about a problem in my life? If the problem seems too big to tackle, break them down into manageable pieces. Move toward your goals, develop something realistic, and do something regularly, even if it seems like a small accomplishment that enables you to move toward the things you want to accomplish. Instead of focusing on tasks that seem unachievable, ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that helps me move in the direction I want to go? For example, if you're struggling with loss of a loved one, you could want to move forward. You could join a support group in your area. Look for opportunities for self discovery. People often find they have grown in some respect as a result of a struggle. For example, after a tragedy or hardship, people have reported better relationships and greater sense of strength, even while feeling vulnerable. That can increase their sense of self worth and heighten their appreciation for life. Keeping things in perspective, how you think can play a significant part in how you feel and how resilient you are when faced with obstacles. Try to identify areas of irrational thinking, such as a tendency to catastrophize difficulties or assume the world is out to get you, and adopt a more realistic, balanced thinking pattern. For instance, if you feel overwhelmed by a challenge, remind yourself that what happened to you isn't an indicator of how your future will go and that you're not helpless. You may not be able to change a highly stressful event, but you can change how you interpret and respond to it. Accept change. Accept that change is part of life. Certain goals or ideas may no longer be attainable as a result of adverse situations in your life. Accepting circumstances that cannot be changed can help you focus on circumstances that you can alter. Maintain a hopeful outlook. It's hard to be positive when life isn't going your way. An optimistic outlook empowers you to expect that good things will happen to you. Try to visualize what you want rather than worrying about what you fear. Along the way, note any subtle ways in which you start to feel better as you deal with difficult situations. Learn from your past. By looking back at who or what was helpful in previous times of distress, you may discover you can respond effectively to new, difficult situations. Remind yourself of where you've been able to find strength and ask yourself what you've learned from those experiences. Getting help when you need it is crucial to building resilience. For many people, using their own resources and kinds of strategies we just covered may be enough for building their resilience. But at times, an individual might get stuck or have difficulty making progress on the road to resilience. If you need to, get some extra help. Reach out to a buddy, the Veterans Crisis Line, or someone you trust and go from there. There will also be some additional resources at the end of this presentation. How do you connect a veteran you're talking with on the phone to the Veterans Crisis Line? Three-way calling from a phone. How to start a conference call. Step 1. Dial the first person and wait for the call to connect. Step 2. Tap Add Call or the plus button. Step 3. Dial the second person and wait for the call to connect. Step 4. Tap Merge Calls button. Step 5. The two calls merge into a conference call. To add additional people, repeat steps 2 through 4. If you don't see the option to add another call, you might have reached the limit for your carrier. Only the person who starts the conference call can see the names of all the participants. Remember, dial 988 and then press 1 to reach the VCL. Stay on the phone until the responder answers. Once the responder is answered, give the responder information with the veteran on the phone. Make sure the responder has the veteran's phone number in case the call gets disconnected. Three-way calling from a Galaxy or Samsung phone. Launch the phone app. Step 2. Type the number you would like to call and then tap on the phone icon. Once the first contact number has accepted your call, tap on the plus icon to add a caller. Enter the number or name of the contact you wish to call, and then tap on the phone icon again to start the call. Tap the Merge button to join the two calls. The two calls are now joined. If you would like to end the conference, simply tap on the End Call icon. Again, remember to dial 988 and press 1 to reach the VCL. Stay on the phone with the responder till you have given the responder the information of the veteran while they're on the phone. Make sure the responder has the veteran's phone number in case the call gets disconnected. Three-way calling from an Android. Open your phone application, tap on a contact, or dial the number to start your first call. Once your party answers, tap Add Call. The Add Call button will remain dimmed until the party answers the call. Step 4. Tap on Contact or dial the number to start your second call. Once your second party answers the call, tap Merge. Again, remember, dial 988 and press 1 to reach the VCL. Stay on the phone until the responder answers. Give the responder information with the veteran on the phone. Make sure the responder has the veteran's phone number in case the call gets disconnected. Take the pledge. Pledge to reach 5 to 10 veterans and do a buddy check, like this video, to show your commitment. Connect the veteran with any resources that could help them even further. Remember that help is out there, and you don't have to do this alone. The S.A.V.E. video had some great resources in it, and you'll see more at the end of this video. Also, check the links in the video description for even more ways to connect your buddies and yourself to help.
All right, we've come full circle. We started with a thank you for being willing to engage in Buddy Check Week. And we founded that upon the 3 core principles of suicide prevention. This work does lead to prevention. It's worth the effort. 2, there's a real role for non-clinical aspects of suicide prevention. Number 3, buddy to buddy, veteran to veteran is one of the best ways for us to make connection and advance suicide prevention. And it's an important, critically important role that you can play. We're hoping that from here, you take us up on the commitment to reach out to 10 fellow veterans. And in so doing, that you increase and spread hope regarding resiliency and the protective factors that veterans bring to the table and the ways in which that we can support each other. Again, as a veteran, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your willingness to play a role and to engage in Buddy Check Week. Thank you.